On today's episode of Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay, I'm thrilled to welcome Scott Coon. He is an Army veteran, lifelong storyteller, and author who blends imagination with deep personal truth. His latest book, Godless Armageddon, invites us to a striking vision of the afterlife where souls drift across golden oceans and one man faces his hidden past, his identity, and a battle between godlike forces that could end everything. It's a story that's much about redemption and self-discovery as it is about a cosmic conflict. Rooted in Scott's own experiences as a veteran and a bisexual man, finding his place in a world that often said he didn't belong. Let's start and learn more about Scott's creativity, his courage, and the power of storytelling. Welcome to my show, Scott.
Thank you for having me here. Glad to be here.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about your journey and like what inspired you to kind of become a writer and a storyteller.
Well, I always had a creative bent when I was a kid, and for reasons beyond my own knowledge or anybody's, I started writing poetry in the third grade. And as time went on, I wanted to express myself creatively, and I didn't really pursue other forms of art. And then in my high school year, they actually, like my last year of high school, my high school actually had a creative writing course, a whole course that I got to write a novel in the course, and it was an Anne Rice knockoff. It was completely horrible. Yeah. But you really need to write like 3 novels and throw them away, and then you gradually learn how to write a novel.
Got it.
So that's where it all started, and I just never stopped.
And do you have those poems from whenever you were in third grade still? Like, did your mom or dad keep them?
Oh, they're gone. They got lost in the dustbin of history.
Oh, too bad. It would have been kind of fun to see them again, you know? Like my mom used to have some of my stuff, but who knows where it is now too, so.
Yeah. My oldest surviving poem is from 1993, and it's on the main page of my website. Okay. Paperback philosophy, about how you're supposed to really devour a paperback and leave it like all torn up when you're done. That's how you love a book.
And what made you decide to go into the Army? Like after you graduated high school, and did you go into the Army right after that?
Yeah, well, basically back then, going into the Army in 1989 was very different from going into the Army 2001 forward. It was a really good deal. It paid for my whole college. Mm-hmm. And while I was I went in supposed to be working on a missile system, but I was recruited into military intelligence during basic training. And then, so I had to extend for an extra year, and then I was in there for a while and it was enjoying it, and I wanted some extra college money and the bonus money. So I signed up for another 3 years. So I was in for a total of 6, making the rank of sergeant.
Wow.
At the end of it all, I decided that I wanted to go special forces, and I was really training hard for it. But my branch, military intelligence, would not release me to go and try out for special forces. And I was like, okay, let me try out for special forces, and then I'll re-enlist if I make it. And they said, re-enlist, and maybe we'll let you try out for special forces. I said,
yeah. And did you enjoy that time of your life?
Yes, I did. I got to peek behind the veil of the intelligence community. Mm-hmm. I worked for, but for the National Security Agency, which was a bit of a different agency back then, I think. And a lot of things have changed since I was in. I still can't talk about anything I did there, but I can tell you that my job title was Electronic Warfare Signals Intelligence Analyst. So you can just work with that.
Yeah. Did you know like things, you know, like everybody wants to know about now? Was this the agency where if there were UFOs and stuff that we would find out through this? 'Cause that's what seems like the biggest topic now is out there now.
Let me explain how intelligence is actually protected, as opposed to the stuff you see in a Marvel movie where the chick is sitting in a restaurant bringing out a giant classified book. It's like, I watch that, I go, oh my gee, stop.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the intelligence that is gathered by the United States is like a giant pizza pot. And the crust is the raw intelligence where they're getting it. And at the center, that's the President of the United States and the Pentagon. So they get all of the pie, but only the tips where it's all been processed out. And they only get the crust stuff if they need it. And when you're in intelligence, you only get one slice of the pie. I might get the whole slice from the tip to the crust. I only get one slice, and all the other slices are darkened to me.
Yeah.
So, which is a good way to do it.
Yeah. I have a friend that doesn't do exactly what you did, but she gets kind of some briefings and stuff, and she's like, "You really don't want to know all the stuff that I find out." Like, she's like, "It's kind of a scary world if you would have known all this stuff." So,
oh yeah, it's scarier when you're in military intelligence. I was scared a lot. I was like scared all the time.
Yeah. So tell me, like, what is your creative process like whenever you're starting to think about writing a book or you're starting to think about telling a story? What's your creative process like?
Well, for me, it starts with what I call seeds. So seeds are like little ideas that could grow into something. And usually I need 3 or 4 seeds for something to actually start sprouting. And Godless Armageddon started out with a few different seeds, like the whole family name. His name is Thomas Jefferson Stoneshield II, my main character. So that's a lot of weight on a guy. And he comes from a long line of military. So he has a strong sense of duty in him. So the fact that he dies without leaving an heir and he doesn't know why is like a big, heavy thing on him. And that was one of the concepts. And another concept was a scientifically based afterlife. And also my own dislike of every depiction of afterlife that I've ever seen, from Good Omens to Dante. They're all just Earth. I mean, Dante is literally inside the Earth. That's all it is. And even when they go into interdimensional space like they did in What If, it's like, oh, come on, can we not just land on a rocky planet to do everything?
Yeah.
So after having worked in electronic warfare, I am familiar with the invisible universe that's around us. I mean, like, there's so much stuff passing through me right now that I have no way of sensing it. And so that leaves a lot of room for different things. So my thought was, if the human soul actually exists, regardless of whether or not there's a God, I'm an atheist.
Yeah.
What would happen to it after it died? Where would it go? So I created this afterlife that's wrapped around the Earth. And it's a giant golden ocean, and that ocean is actually made of all the animal souls that have ever died since life started on Earth. And they're really chill relative to our souls, so they just kind of turn gold and become a part of this very relaxed ocean, like they've already achieved nirvana just by being animals. Meanwhile, we're all agitated, so we float to the top of that and become different colored clouds based on our emotions. And that's where we live. And then everything else was an extension of that.
And is that what you think really happens?
No, this is just a theory. It's like, I'm probably as close to what happens to us after we die as the ancient Greeks were to what makes the universe with their forever. So, we're not going to get there. It's just not a thing we'll be able to figure out.
Yeah, but what do you think happens to us when we die?
Well, the most likely thing, which we all hate to think about, is that it all goes blank and we just cease to exist anymore.
Yeah.
But we don't understand the nature of time. I like to operate on the assumption that after we die, it's like an old-timey record where the needle picks up, goes back to the beginning of the track, and plays all over again.
Yeah.
So I'm making a point of making every day a day that I wouldn't mind playing over again, if that's our relationship with time.
Yeah. Yeah. I've interviewed a lot of people over the past, 6 months, I guess, that there's been a lot of reincarnations talk and things like that. And so I'm not quite sure what I believe anymore. So I know I don't believe in God and heaven and hell. I know I don't believe in that. But I don't really know what happens. I don't think that we just die. And I think that maybe we have some type of where we go and there is a spirit to us somehow. So, but not a religious spirit. But I think there's an other side, but not the whole heaven and hell thing. So.
Yeah, the one piece of evidence I have that makes me think that there's more to it than we just go blank is the fact that we're self-aware.
Yeah.
If we weren't self-aware and like looking forward to our death with all this intrepidation, then there'd be no evidence at all. And then, of course, then we wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah. Whenever you're thinking about, like, you got through this book, and do you already start thinking about like what's next? Are you kind of like always doing that? And are you also kind of almost taking notes as if something happened? Like you said, you have these little seeds that come up. Do you have like a book, a journal or something, or even on your iPhone where you're writing all these things down that come into your head? Like, oh, this might be a good book. This might be a good character. Like, is that kind of how you operate?
Oh, yeah. I've got a couple of old notebooks that are written in pen that are still sitting back there in a cabinet in case I need them. And then I got a whole cell phone file full of just random stuff. And I scroll through it and I go, that's how many years it goes back? Oh my.
Yeah.
And some of those ideas are really bad, but I'll delete them because one of those bad ideas might get coupled with another bad idea to become a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And a lot of your storytelling seems to be around kind of technology and science. Like, how do you bring those two together whenever you're writing, and what influences that for you?
Well, I'm addicted to documentaries, and YouTube is my feed. I love documentaries from 5 minutes to 20 minutes long, but I'll sit through the longer ones too. And there are a lot of great producers out there doing stuff. So I just keep watching them. So I know all kinds of weird stuff, like the history of the modern grocery store and the deer stalker hat and weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I really love science. I actually did a couple of videos for my YouTube channel about, one's called Planet Building, not world building, planet building, because that takes you through how to build a planet. And that's basically based on the knowledge that I've gathered from all these different documentaries about how a solar system is formed, how our planet compares to other planets and our solar system to other solar systems, and what stars are most common, and how weather works, because of, weather doesn't just happen. Our solar system makes our weather happen.
Yeah.
So, and there's different ways that you can do it. So stop making Earths. If you're writing sci-fi, get more creative with it. Watch my planet building video and check that out. And then there's another one about magic swords, about, mining. Like, my biggest pet peeve with science fiction, especially Star Trek, is they keep going to planets that have a livable atmosphere to mine. There's nothing on the surface of a planet worth mining once you can get into space, because there are giant mountains of metal and rock and everything else you need just floating around. Just land on it, start cutting it up. The planets, you need someplace to live. So leave those alone so you can live and farm on. But so I keep bringing in this science, but what's really important is that science has all this stuff that it knows it doesn't know. Like dark matter and dark energy, they call them that because I don't know what they are. They're X and Y. They're just variables that we're holding on to. We know these things are happening. We have no idea what's causing it, and we're trying to figure it out. So you get to play with that. So when you get outside of what science can detect, you can do whatever the heck you want, as long as it kind of feels like it fits into science. And that's what I've done with my Afterlife and Godless Armageddon. Is I got into those big edges where nobody can actually, see. Maybe one day we'll be able to scan the sky and actually discover that my afterlife is up there.
Have you seen like the news reports and stuff? Lots of TikTok videos and stuff about the thing that's coming in November that's going to pass by not Earth, but they're thinking that it's not like that. They're pretty sure it's some type of alien something or another. That it's like 0.005% that it's just something floating, but at the rate of speed that it's going, they're thinking that it's something that's could be alien life. Have you seen that report?
I've seen a couple of reports on that. I haven't gotten a lot of details on it.
Yeah.
I think I saw one a while ago where they really got into what it looks like if you like get in there. I think we might be facing another base on Mars thing. Remember that?
Yeah.
There was a base on Mars. Yeah, no, there wasn't a face. There was a shadow on Mars that had a face shape.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you take it from another angle, not a face.
Well, a lot of
So
people are making comments on these videos saying, "Yeah, let's hope that they come. Maybe it's time. We need something to do to make this place a little better." So it's funny some
I
of the
hope so. I
comments.
hope that you come down and go, dudes, come on, dude, time out. Let's
Yeah,
have a discussion about all this.
yeah, exactly. I think we need it at this point. So, um, how do your how are your kind of the people that read your stories and stuff? How are they responding to your books and to your writings?
Well, I really want to get more people responding to my writing, but everybody who has read it so far has responded extremely well. The thing that I find most flattering or gratifying, or whatever you want to call it, about this is that I really did dive into something, a story that very difficult to tell. I mean, like, all my characters are clouds, and the only time that they're not clouds is when they're inside a memory that acts like a dream. So it gets surreal, and rules of reality bend to the dreamer's will. So I managed to get through this entire novel without losing anybody or confusing them. And people would say to me, I felt like I should be getting lost and not be able to follow this, but I was able to follow the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I credit a lot of that to my writers groups that helped me out with this. This went through like writers groups like 5 times. And when I sent it to the publisher, they're like, yeah, we can barely find a typo.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Because it went through so much writer groups. So yeah, it took a lot of work, but I finally got there. And people enjoy it and they find it powerful and the ending satisfactory. So yeah.
And would you ever want to turn like this latest book? Would you want to ever turn that into like a mini series or even a movie?
I dare anybody out there to turn this into a movie because I want to watch it.
Yeah,
I dare you.
yeah. Who would you want to play in it? Have you thought about that?
No, not really. Everybody's a cloud, so it'll be all voiceovers.
Yeah, but yeah, you got to get a couple of I'm trying to think who's got a popular voice. James Earl Jones is dead now, so it couldn't be him. But somebody like that living today, Samuel L. Jackson. He's got the unique voice, I think. So getting somebody
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
you know what? Even though he's a Jewish kid from the 1930s, Samuel L. Jackson would do a great David.
Yeah,
David is one angry kid.
yeah. And kind of outside of your writing, what else do you like to do besides telling stories, or telling stories but not writing them?
Well, I'm a hiker. I haven't been hiking in several months. I need to get myself back out there. I like getting out into the woods, and I like doing the kind of hiking where you just put all the stuff in your backpack, and that's what you're working with when you get to your campsite. It's kind of hard to camp out here on the West Coast because, you can't start a fire anymore.
Yeah,
It's always fire season anymore. So that's a shame. But
yeah.
I also love video games, and my favorite video games are vehicle simulators and strategy games, mostly World War II simulate based, as you may tell by my old World War II character book.
Yeah. And what type of videos are you putting out on your YouTube channel to let people know?
Well, if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll find some playlists. This video will probably show up on my Surfing the Net with Guy, because that's where I stow other people's videos. But on writing videos, I talk about log lines and how to write the query letter to a publisher or an agent.
Mm-hmm.
I also talk about like the science stuff that I already talked about. And I also have a grammar for creative writing series.
Oh, nice.
And I have several published short stories, including my award-winning Enduring Winter short story. And so that you're not just looking at me reading a story to you, I put animation over it. But I'm not trained as an animator, so I'm working with PowerPoint.
Okay.
A friend of mine described it as the best book report in the 8th grade, and I'm quite proud of that description. Thank you. So you can check out my short stories.
And would you ever turn one of your short stories into a longer like novel or a book or anything like that?
Actually, I had a book that was based on two of the short stories, but I kind of abandoned it. I'm thinking about going back to it. And it's actually the second and third short stories that I published, which were about a vampire named Victoria. And that was set in a world where vampires left Earth during the Roman era and went to the other side of the galaxy. But the story takes place when humanity gets to the other side of the galaxy, and it's like, oh, these people are back.
It kind of sounds like an interesting story. I mean, that's you should think about bringing that back and trying to get it out there.
Yeah, I might circle back on that soon.
And do you have other kind of, so you talked about being part of the writers groups and stuff. Do you also give people feedback or kind of read their books, and does that help inspire you at all whenever you're kind of reading other people's work?
Absolutely. This book would not exist if not for my writers group. Not only did they help me make it something that you could read and enjoy and follow all the way through, despite how bizarre my setting is, but one of my friends actually said to me, I described to her like what this book was. I'm like, I don't think anybody will publish or read this. And she's like, no, you should write that. And it was just like the conviction in her voice made me actually start writing Godless Armageddon.
Yeah.
So, and now I actually run a Discord writers group, which is also on my website, called Writers of Sherman Oaks. And we meet twice a month, go through all our writing, and we help each other. And it's a very structured group. So if you want to start your own writing group and you send me an email, I'll send you the rules. Or you can check out my Writers of Sherman Oaks on meetup.com and see what the rules are there. Because that's a really good way to structure a writing group if you want feedback from each other.
Yeah. And feedback's really important, right? I mean, because what you think may sound great, getting kind of the feedback from somebody is like, that doesn't, it makes sense in your head, but maybe not on paper, you know?
The biggest problem that most writers have is they understand the story that they wrote, and they have to learn to make other people understand the story that they're telling.
Yes. Yeah.
They tend to leave things out that they think are just implied and taken, but then you find out, oh wait, no, that's not implied. I need to put that in there. I forgot to put that in there, and everybody needs it.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. What advice would you kind of give somebody that's starting out writing their first book, or they want to be? So I have a friend that she's kind of written all her life. She's never really sit down and wrote a book, and I'm hoping that she does, because she's getting at the age where if she doesn't do it soon, she's not ever going to do it. What advice would you kind of give somebody to get started?
Well, to build a good writing habit, pick a time and write at that time, no matter what. And if you sit there looking at a blank page thinking about writing and you don't actually achieve anything, still spend that time doing that. Also, if you want to be a serious writer and you want to publish your work and get other people to read your work, then you need to subscribe to things like Writer's Digest and other publications like Poets and Writers, and read the articles and learn about how to be a professional writer. And once you've learned everything about how to be a professional writer, learn it all again, because it just changed while you were learning.
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't just study how to write and how to publish and how to market. I also studied the lives of writers, and I found that the most successful writers over time are those who have other writers in their life to bounce things off. So build a community, find other people, go to websites where you can meet other writers, get on Goodreads, stuff like that.
Yeah. And do you kind of go to different, I don't want to say like Comic-Con or anything like that, but are there like those type of like conferences for writers that you go to?
Oh yeah, I've been to a lot of writing conferences. The first one I went to was way back in New Jersey, like back in the early 90s, I think. And it was like in a really cheap hotel in the middle of nowhere, New Jersey, that I don't even know why there was a hotel there. Like, why is there a need for a hotel in this location?
Yeah.
And I remember sitting on the floor, because they didn't even have enough folding chairs, listening to the publisher of a magazine that had rejected me many times, explaining to me why he rejected me many times. Not me personally, just in general.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember sitting there furiously taking notes. And now you like in LA, we have so many book festivals and writing festivals. The LA Festival of Books has a lot of good panels for writers, and that's inspired me to actually put on my own panels. So the Studio City Library here in California has already put on one of my panels, and another one was at the Library of Sherman Oaks. And I'm going to be putting on another one in October, expect. And we have a good turnout, and writers come out and listen to us. So it's like a one panel writing convention for local writers. And I'm going to be at the LosCon, which is more of me trying to sell books to people. So,
yeah. Well, Scott, if anybody wants to learn more about Scott, you can go to his website. It's scottcoonsci-fi.com. He's also on Instagram at Scott Coon Sci-Fi. And I'll put both of those into the description of this podcast or video, whatever you're watching. Also, all his books are available on Amazon, and you got a really good rating on Amazon. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Is there another book that you've written that you would want people to go look at or take a look at that you're like, oh, I'm really proud of this book?
Lost Helix. It's about a boy who's born in an asteroid mining colony out in the middle of nowhere, and he's like one solar system removed from civilization. So he's living under corporate rule, and when his dad goes missing, corporate agents come to get him and his guitar, which is an electric guitar with memory in it. And that memory includes a whole bunch of criminal evidence against the corporation.
Oh.
And he doesn't know that he has it. And he's getting chased back to civilization with that evidence.
Wow. Amazing. I love I just love the whole sci-fi creativity that you come up with. So it's really, it's amazing. And we need more of that in the world, I think. So
thank you.
Well, thanks so much for being on. Be sure to go and get Scott's book today. Again, it's on Amazon. Go to the description of this, and I will have a link on there where you can go buy all of his books. So thanks for being on, Scott. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on. It's been wonderful.